Hi, I'm Stephana Johnson. Welcome to Simplifying the Holidays. This is a very special gift that I like to do during this season to share some resources and some tips and to share some of the wonderful people that I have met and have worked with in my outings and my experience throughout the year. And there is one very special lady who has entered my life this year, and I'm very grateful for her in so many ways, but one that I'd like to share with you today is around our wellness and our physical well-being, because she is a master. She is a master at the physical, internal, what we take into our bodies and how it reflects in our external images. And so she puts together the holistic lifestyle and how we eat, as well as our style for ourselves in our image and what that actually creates in our world. And I am very excited to introduce Ekaterina. We're going to call you Katerina. Kat, is that okay too?
That's fine. You can call me Kat.
Okay. She is just a beautiful, brilliant woman, and she has a young child. Her Sophia is her daughter. She's 7, and she homeschools her daughter as well. So we have many things in common. And without further ado, welcome, Ekaterina. I'm so glad to have you here.
Thank you very much, Stephana. Likewise, I am very glad to be here and share my expertise on the chosen topic today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
I would like to just jump right into, so you know that I am all about simplifying, because I really tend to complicate things, so I have to work to simplify. And when it comes to holidays, we know that eating and partying and everything that goes along with that, drinking and the things that we put in our bodies, become much more complicated during this time. And it's almost chaotic with all the different parties, and sometimes we just throw in the bag and say, forget it, I'm just going to diet at the end or the beginning of the year, or we just throw out all of our good habits. And I would love to know what you think would help us tame that chaos during the holiday seasons.
It's a wonderful question, and a lot of people struggle with it. In fact, just a recent community survey shows that 90% of Americans are extremely stressed, at least about one thing during the holiday. So that leaves us into the 10%. I am not stressed. I do my homework, and I do help my clients as well to achieve that goal. It's not an easy one, but there is a way to do it. And let's just start with the fact that holiday season doesn't just start in December. It pretty much starts at the end of a harvest season, growth season, which is end of September. Then we're going to Halloween, where kids go and collect as many candies as they can. Some eat them, some don't. And then there is Thanksgiving, lots of stuff, lots of overeating and drinking. The next day people wake up, complain how stuffed they feel, and they go shopping. And then we enter into December, officially the holiday season, with schedules full of holiday parties, events, family reunions. And then there is Christmas, which is more eating, more drinking, more going out and partying. And then there is the actual Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. And to top it off with the last party of New Year's Eve, more drinking, more overstuffing ourselves. So what's going on? We, as growth seasons finish, harvest season finish, we are mammals. We are humans are mammals. So we naturally go into battery saving mode, also known as hibernation. So we don't fall asleep like the bear through the winter, but meditation and slowing down is required for our health, to preserve our immune system. And instead of entering January and February exhausted with suppressed immune system, which is warm welcome to every bacteria and virus there is, which is what happened to most Americans, we go wild through the actual winter and exhaust our immune system. So I suggest first thing, the de-stressing is very important. But before you even go there, be honest with yourself is number one. You need to do your own inventory and answer your own question. What does the holiday season means to you? What do you want to get out of it? Right?
Yes.
Do you what does it mean to you to spend time with family and friends? What are your favorite events and things to do? Then do those. Or be different and make a wonderful memory about, I did something different this Christmas. I went to Caribbean. Instead of, but you have to be honest with yourself. What is it that you want to get out of the season?
Yes, being intentional. That's a great, great tip. Thank you.
Also, avoid comparing yourself with what other people are doing, because that's a setting for disappointment.
Mm-hmm.
You can trying to live up somebody's expectations. It's just not worth it. And avoid doing events that you dislike or irritate you. Why? You don't have to. It's a simple choice.
Yes, you would think that that's the truth. However, when that happens and when you get onto that, it's almost like a train that's moving and you can't get off. What are some of the things what you can go back, like you said, go back and get to know what your truth is. And when you've done that and there's pressure outside, are there any other tips that you can suggest?
Absolutely. De-stressing.
How would you de-stress? What kind of ways do you de-stress?
De-stress includes planning. De-stress includes taking care of yourself. That means pamper yourself with a massage, yoga class, facial. You don't need to wait till January to start a new thing. You can join a yoga class now. You don't have to wait till January. Or you can go for that facial. And I should have started with that, of course. Don't let the matrix get to you. And what I mean by the matrix is, don't watch too much TV, because TV commercials are designed to make you buy that coffee machine you don't really need. And then in January, you are going to be looking at, and it's just going to be an ornament in your kitchen. And every time you look, it will make you angry. Yes. Because that's what they're designed for. Also, avoid high traffic area, avoid the shopping mall. Those places are made for you to go to shop till drop. That's the intention. So you going there, you're setting yourself for failure and for being stressed.
Yes, absolutely. That's a great tip.
Thank you. There is a great thing I do every Christmas, and this is, I go to a thrift shop, I buy a 50-cent wood basket, this big, and I fill it up with citrus fruit, any seasonal vegetable or fruit like avocado, persimmons, sweet potato. I bought a miniature bottle of champagne or a wine. I make my own chicken liver pate, or I marinate different olives in Mediterranean spices, and I put it in a nice glass jar with the ornament. It's just big. I get creative, and my daughter, she does all this with me. She paints the cards. It's so much fun to do, and it's budget friendly, and you're original. You can beat that.
That's lovely. Yeah, that's beautiful. I love those ideas. So how do you find the time to do that?
I do. It's planning. Everything is planning. Mm-hmm. I live in time poverty times. I am time poor, but going to a thrift shop, I also delegate friends who I know they love to go to thrift shop. I say, hey, here is money. Please just go shopping for me.
You mean for the baskets and things? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then you put things in them that are edible, consumable, that are good for people.
Absolutely.
I mean, everything you said it's beautiful. That's wonderful.
Yeah, and then I also buy like a organic dark chocolate bar.
Oh, nice.
So everything is used. It will be used sooner or later.
Yes.
There is no waste, and everything is very budget friendly.
Mm-hmm.
So people love it. Everybody, I remember, and I'm gonna do it this Christmas again. But last Christmas, the Christmas before, it's just. Also, when you come to decor your table, people get stressed out. They buy those huge centerpiece. Just go for a walk at the park and collect your free pine cones and branches. Just color them gold and silver or red or green, whatever. Craft. I believe Michael's sell the craft paints, which are like little tubes. They're under $2, and everything you just collected is free. Mm-hmm. And again, it's all original because nobody else will have it.
Right.
And
those
so
are great tips.
Yeah, and then you don't have to go big on the table decor. Just go lower pieces, makes more space for the dishes and everything. So more presentable, in my opinion.
It's beautiful. And I know, I mean, clearly you are very creative. And I know some of us that are creatively challenged in areas like that. You just gave us some beautiful ideas because Mother Nature is incredibly creative. So we can just take from Mother Nature and add to our own indoors some of what Mother Nature has created, which is lovely. So thank you for those ideas. I have a couple of more questions, if you wouldn't mind taking us on a journey, since you work in this field every day and you're experiencing this every day. I know that in America we have an epidemic of obesity, but I also know that being overweight, it does not feel good. I know this because I've been overweight a couple of times in my life and I've chosen to take the weight off. And so when you are overweight, you don't feel great. And I'm really interested in knowing what it is about, and maybe why you could answer this, is why you think it is that we have such an epidemic of obesity when we don't feel good. And yet, we're being overweight is a source of unhappiness for many people.
And disease.
Oh, yes. And we can go on and list everything that goes along with obesity. Yeah. What's your take on that?
Well, to create a perfectly clear picture on the reality, I will just say what happened to me 2 days ago. I connected with an old friend of mine from high school, from when I was back in Bulgaria. This is where I grew up. And we haven't been in touch all these years. And we connected through Facebook. And that was great. And it was so good to catch up. And she asked me what I do. So, she knows my father used to be a holistic medical doctor. She knows my background. She was like, this is great. You're helping people. You know so much. Well, isn't that interesting? She said, why is it that when she has 2 beautiful daughters, they both go to university at the moment. So why is it that when my daughters went on a summer camp in the United States, they came back 16 pounds heavier?
Oh my goodness. For how many weeks were they gone?
I didn't ask.
16 pounds, that's a lot, even if that's over a summer.
Yeah. It could have been a month. I'm not sure how long the camps are.
Wow.
So now the other thing is, I've worked with 2 Canadian clients. They were VIP clients. One of them moved to the States, and in 1 year she gained 22 pounds. Mm-hmm. And the other one, I believe she gained 18. This is last year. Anyway, this made me dig in what's going on here. I mean, I know why the epidemic is going on here, but that made me go even further. What's going on? Mm-hmm. Well, just to another good hook on that topic is, for instance, Nutella. Did you know that Nutella has 23 grams of sugar in the United States and 16 grams of sugar in Canada and only 11 in Europe?
Interesting.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
So, and that's not just Nutella. That's cereal. That's a lot of everything packaged. And, to start with, sugar is 8 times more addictive than cocaine, heroin, and alcohol. And now a lot of people start waking up about it because everybody used to think it's fat. That's how people were brainwashed. And it's all about being educated on that. It is really sugar that boomed the epidemic in obesity. There's no question about it.
Right.
Sugar. Why sugar? Okay, people will say, well, I don't really eat desserts that much. Yes, you don't, but you still consume high amount of sugar on an everyday basis if you eat in restaurants. If you go to we call them the addict aisles, which is the center of the supermarket, because that's where you get hooked on the same. Have you noticed people always keep buying the same foods? The frozen section. This is because they contain high amounts of sugar under a fancy name. A lot of people don't see sugar, they buy it. But really, there is sugar. It's hidden under a different name. There's so many names. They keep bringing even more names.
Wow.
So you are still eating a lot of sugar a day. You don't even know it. What you eat doesn't even taste sweet. It tastes salty. Right. But there is sugar. There is sugar in it. And the food industry knows the addictive nature of sugar, so they pour it in their products. And it's very hard to lose weight in this country. Everything in moderation doesn't work in this country.
Well, even diet shakes are full of sugar. I mean,
absolutely,
it's like, that's
absolutely.
Not food, don't eat them.
Absolutely.
Oh, no.
I mean, a latte from Starbucks, a grande latte, that is the calorie and sugar wise, it's like 4 donuts.
Oh my word.
So you imagine, you see people drink it with skim milk, which means nothing. Fat is good for you. Good fat is good for you. But anyway, we're talking about the obesity, and it's the sugar and you see it in kids, and you see it's just very sad. People need to take this in their own hands because they're on their own. Food industry doesn't look after you.
Right.
You're on your own. So they need to,
Oh, it's fantastic. No, I don't want to cut you off, but you're talking about sugar as the addiction, and you've just touched on the tip of the iceberg, because we also know that sugar, doesn't it break your immune system down? So once you eat it, then your immune system, isn't it lowered? And then all the other effects that go on internally once you've actually eaten the sugar, what it does to your glycemic index. And then talk about, I know, some other emotional problems like depression and things that come from specifically having a yeast overgrowth. And that's all from sugar, because your body craves that sugar. So it's like this snake eating its tail. It's a real perpetual cycle. My goodness, you have quite a challenge, don't you? Your clients, my goodness.
It is, but once my clients understand how bad, because let's face it, sugar is an acid. It is nothing else. It's just a plain acid.
Okay.
And there used to be a dentist, I forgot his name. I did 2 times teleseminars on sugar and how to ditch the addiction and all. And I'm sure I'm going to do another one next year. But there was a dentist, and I totally forgot his name right now, in the 1900s, who did a big research on that. And he said, he came to the conclusion, I want to cite it, what he said was this: alcohol has been known since civilization exists, but not alcohol has never done damage on our gene as much as sugar has done. Sugar has destroyed the human being gene.
Now, when you talk about sugar, can you define for us the difference? Is it all sugar that includes honey and maple syrup and stevia? Because we have so many different alternatives now to sugar.
Sure.
And even though honey is natural, is it still creating that havoc? Is it still that I'm assuming when you're speaking about sugar, you're talking about white sugar, or the sugar that's added, whether it's corn syrup, refined.
Once the sugar cane and sugar beets are refined, yes, that's when it becomes acid. Cannot be digested by the body. I mean, think about your pets. If your dog eats sugar, they go blind. Why? They develop diabetes. Animals cannot eat sugar. Their bodies, we're the same as them, except that our body a little more get to the fight with the sugar. And in order for our body to digest refined sugar, complete depletion of vitamins and minerals, including magnesium and calcium. And that's why we get tooth decay, because the sugar leaches our body of these valuable minerals and nutrients. So it takes about 5 hours. So let's say you ate a donut. It takes about 5 hours for your immune system to go back to normal. So your immune system gets so depressed for 5 hours after you eat a donut, and which obviously leads to why kids who eat ice cream and cookies all day long, they suffer more colds and more flu, and same as adults. So people who are, so here you go, sugar is not your friend. Honey, natural alternatives, honey, I grew up with honey. I mean, it's a healthier alternative. However, I highly recommend to do it in moderation.
And probably not in moderation, not in the amount that we have now in our culture.
No,
like you're saying, and then the illustration of what we have in Europe compared to what we have here, gram-wise, and Nutella. Now, I don't eat Nutella myself, but I can understand that. my mother visits Germany and she says the food over there tastes very different than here. And it's the same, whether it's even sauerkraut, it's real sauerkraut. Meanwhile, it's, or a pickle is a real pickle. It's actually been fermented. It hasn't been just stuck in some chemical or vinegar. And the reality of what we are actually eating is something that we all need to be aware of. And when you're describing sugar, as you described with children, now I work with I work with small businesses. So they have employees and many of them are concerned about productivity and making payroll and having their employees be more productive and happier. And yet there's donuts brought in and candy at every there's in offices, this is like the nice thing to do during the holiday season, all of this garbage. So I shouldn't say garbage. I know my husband doesn't like that, but it's true when you walk into an office and you just see sugar and sugar and sugar, and the body is like, you want to, oh, look at that, and it's free. What can we do about that? I know, besides just saying no. Is there anything else besides just saying no?
Yeah, you have to learn to say no.
Is it really, it comes down to that, doesn't it?
There is no, it's kind of a black and white. I don't like that either, but it is it is what it is. It's pure poison. I'm sorry, but if you know you're eating poison, would you still eat it in moderation?
Mm-hmm. Now,
think of it exactly as a poison, because that's what sugar is.
See, I totally sugar should not be legal. I cannot eat it myself without having a reaction. But I have always had a reaction since I was a child to sugar. I have celiac, so it's with gluten or sugar where it goes through my body and I have a specific reaction to it. So I know empirically that it affects my body negatively, so I can make that choice. But for example, my husband was brought up with his mother, beautiful, amazing, wonderful woman, but put her children to bed with a sugar water when they went to bed. And I remember in the 70s, someone also said to make baby formula using corn syrup. And it's very interesting to me that it mimics mother's milk, or it mimics the nutrition they need. And I'm thinking, how is this even something we can come up with? Are we really able to come up with this? Now, I know it tastes good, but like you're saying, it's so addictive. So what could we do that would help to take that next step? So instead of it just being this overall big picture that's almost overwhelming and complicated, how can we simplify it to taking the very next step to improve and simplify how we care for ourselves through nutrition?
Right. This is an excellent question. Thank you. The first step has to be, and it starts again with being honest with yourself. It's a why. You have to ask, why do you want to feel good? Why do you want to be on that place? Why? Because without knowing the why, there is no success. So if you're not motivated enough because of that why, you will never get there.
Okay.
And I, as a coach, can want more than you for you to succeed. So if that makes sense, right?
Yes.
So basically, you need to know the why. Then it's easy. Once you know the why, you start planning. It's all about planning. Just like you plan your yearly vacation to Cancun or whatever, or just like you plan to go stop by at Starbucks. Same thing. It's planning. You have to pick your day of the week for cooking and cook for the whole week. And that is a lifesaver, because you don't have to worry about cooking every day. If you're like me, I don't cook my lunches. I cook my dinners, but I love to cook. That's just my way of meditating in the evenings. But not everybody have that luxury of time, or even not everybody like to cook. Well, you have to find a way to eat, to make it enjoyable. Either play a nice CD with your favorite music, make it a nice place. Your kitchen, you can do that. You can do it for yourself.
Well, as you're describing this, people have to eat.
Oh yeah,
And
every
it
day.
takes time to get in the car and drive to a fast food. It takes time to go do that too. So, like you're saying, to plan, well, I will buy the food that is best or that would make a good meal, and I will learn to make. I will cut this, slice the vegetables, or cook a chicken or something. Um, you can almost make it faster than going through a drive-through and sitting in line with the 50 other people that shouldn't be sitting in line. So yeah, I know if I can get really on my intense high horse on this, because I see how we are so affected by what we eat. Now, of course, what we think too. I believe how our mind thinks is also affecting our world, but also how we're eating is completely affecting our world. And you were talking about that dentist, and that's Weston Price. You were probably talking about Weston Price.
It wasn't him. It wasn't him. It wasn't
Or
him.
Pottinger.
It was somebody from New Jersey. Now I remember, but now I don't remember the name. But it was not the Weston Price. He's another dentist who did on sugar a lot of research. Yes.
And isn't it interesting that dentists are the ones who kind of did the research on this, because they were seeing the result and the repercussions after the fact. Our bodies, like you were saying, they have either some kind of a survival mechanism that they'll deal with it. And it's become almost like a new normal for people to be obese.
No.
And it's not normal. So we cannot keep saying that, oh yeah, sure, an extra 20 pounds, an extra 30 pounds, an extra 100 pounds. This is not normal. No. And not whether it's bad or good, or you need to be skinny, or it's not healthy. That's the most important thing. And someone 100 pounds overweight is not healthy. It's not possible. So it's not about, how the models, or how we portray in the media, well, you have to be stick thin or twiggy thin. No. This has nothing to do with that, because you can be anorexic and super skinny and be totally unhealthy, and you can still be skinny and eat tons of sugar. That's not what we're talking about, right? And this is what's so important, because Ekaterina, you are gorgeous. I mean, you're stunning. You have a gorgeous body. You have a physical body that is not super skinny. I know I have been told I am too thin. So I get told that often. But I also know, because I have celiac, so I cannot eat bread, gluten, any of that. And so it is a lot easier for me to stay much thinner, because I don't eat those types of things. And my choices are very limited. I cannot go to a restaurant, because it's inevitable that I would be subjected to gluten. And then as a result, I will have the effect of it. And what you've said about stepping into that place of your truth, your own truth, I think is such a beautiful place to start for all of us. And that if we can give ourselves a gift, it would be that, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, what we see today is the obesity, the diabetes, and we hear it on the radio a lot of times. I don't listen. I don't watch TV. I don't listen to commercials, radio. I listen to music. But immediately when I hear, living with diabetes, that's a very normal 10 times a day commercial. That's not the norm.
Right.
That it is not. Or you go to, when I was in Chicago airport just not long ago, it was a big poster with a typical ideal American family, 4 of them obese. No, that's not the norm. But they're trying to brainwash people that it's okay. And like you said, we have to eat. We have to. And every day. And food industries know that.
Right.
So they are basically trying to control us through the food supply. So they make very healthy profits for our sick credit.
Right.
Very sad.
Yes, it is. It is. But you've given us some wonderful things to think about, and an idea around what we can do to celebrate ourselves as well as each other by giving natural gifts and simpler gifts, but also something that's original and from the heart. So that's beautiful. I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Will you share your website where people can go and find out more about you?
Absolutely. You can go to www.morrisseycorporatewellness.com. Morrissey is spelled with 2 R's and 2 S's.
Okay, great. And I'll put a link it on the page as well so that people can go and find out
Thank
about
you
it.
very much. In fact, I have a book that will, it's a healthy gourmet holiday recipe book that will be on my website next week. And it's going to have very entertaining tips. All of these things that I said, all built with natural plus recipes that are gourmet and healthy, all tested with seasonal ingredients. So hopefully you like it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate it. All right. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays for you too.